He's got the toys. He's got showmanship. And he's got sex appeal. Ladies and gentlemen, from the great Southwest, here's the guru of gadgets, the dapper and dashing Don Baine, the Gadget Professor. Gadget Professor.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Gadget Professor Show. My name is Don Baine, and of course, I am the Gadget Professor. Well, fans, it is September 26th. The month of September has blown by. I swear, I don't know where the time is going. It's just zooming by. I had an interesting drive into the studio today. I was behind an 18-wheeler, and a tire shredded on it, and it was pretty scary, to be honest with you. I don't know if I was going to make it in the studio. A big chunk of the rubber tire blew off, and you figure, it's rubber. What's it going to do? Man, that hit the front of my car, ba-boom, and my heart came in my mouth, and then about 15 other pieces of rubber shredded tire at 103 degrees smacked into my windshield. I'm okay. The car's okay. The tractor trailer immediately pulled over, but that was a pretty scary experience. So now that I've shared that with you, let's get right down to business. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Gadget Professor. Of course, everybody knows how to get the Gadget Professor. You won't be watching me right now, but you know, one of the easiest ways is on the Roku channel or by going to that beautiful web page that we all know, thegadgetprofessor.com. You can watch me on there. All the episodes are there. And of course, fans, the main thing you want to do is right in the middle of the page there, there's a little word that says newsletter. Sign up for that newsletter. Put your email in there. Every Thursday evening when we post a new episode, you will instantaneously, as soon as that episode is up, get an email. And why do you want that email? Because it has all the show notes, and everything that we discuss is nicely and orderly put there on the email, hot linked, so you can just click the URLs and get all the goodies, all the free stuff, and you won't want to miss that. So the other thing that you can do, of course, is email me anytime, 24 hours a day at thegadgetprofessor@gmail.com, thegadgetprofessor@gmail.com. I answer all my email. You can email me 24 hours a day. If you have a new gadget that you manufacture, or if you know of a gadget that you want me to review, just send me a note and I will try to do that. If you have some tech questions, I've been known to answer a few of those, and I have 3 or 4 waiting to be answered, and I will get to those probably tonight. So there you go. Also, we have a Facebook page, and if you follow me on Facebook, that would be Facebook.com/The Gadget Professor. You'll hear the announcement that the show is up every Thursday on Facebook, and everybody knows my favorite page, of course, is Rebel Mouse, and that would be rebelmouse.com/Gadget Professor. No the, just the gadget, just Gadget Professor. And essentially how that works is I tweet probably 60 to 70 times a day, and you can follow me at Twitter anytime. It would be at Gadget Professor. So if you want to check my Twitter feed out, and if you want to see my Twitter feed, literally, go to the Rebel Mouse page, and what that will do is show you a fantastic visualization of every new gadget that's come out within the last hour or two. It shows you a pictorial, and if you click on something that looks cool to you, it will actually take you to the article, and it's a lot of fun. I check it myself because I don't know what's coming out, and that's how I find out a lot of these things, is by checking my own tweets, if you will. So today we have a very cool show, and I have a friend and a guest that's going to be on very shortly with us, my good friend Gary Meeker. And if you've never listened or heard of Gary Meeker, today's the day that you definitely want to listen into this show, because we have some very cool things to introduce you to, and I'm very proud and honored actually to have Gary Meeker as a guest today on the Gadget Professor. So let's run through some free software links and we'll get right to Gary. This is an interesting link called Catalog. You can get this on iTunes, or you can get it on the Google Play Store. And this is called Catalog by The Find. It's an award-winning catalog and shopping app, and all those catalogs that you get in the mail and waste all that paper, this is a great utensil, a great utility that will let you shop and browse almost every catalog there is to browse online, and that's kind of what it looks like, high quality, and again available on the Android or the OS operating system, even your iPad, your iPhone. Here's an interesting app, and you know what? I'm seeing a lot of these things coming out in the last month or so, and I don't know, maybe I'm getting old, but I think last week I showed you an app that had coffee shop background noise, and I've had a couple notes that people actually liked it, and it's coffee cups clanging, people ordering coffee, and it just sounds like you're at a coffee house, and that's supposed to stimulate your brain so that you can get work done in that type of environment. Whatever. I need any stimulation I can get from my brain to work these days. So that brings us to OmWriter, writing environment for Mac, PC, and the iPad. OmWriter is your own private writing room where you can close the door behind you and focus on writing in peace. Everywhere you go, you have access to a beautiful distraction-free writing environment where your authentic voice is free to go wherever it wants to. Okay, essentially what this does is, as I scroll down, and the Washington Post features it, Forbes, Fox News, a lot of heavy-duty hitters in this, 3 individual features work together to create one unique environment for writing and thinking where you can concentrate and be productive when you need it the most. So what's all this mean? It's going to give you backgrounds that are supposed to hold your attention and set the mood. It has audio tracks that will focus your mind, and it will also amplify or give your keystrokes a supportive sound so that as you're typing you feel like you're getting work done. I tried this for maybe 15 seconds. I didn't get anything done, but I'm sure there are people who will really get into this, and there's a lot of new apps coming out that supposedly involve the entire environment. So it's the sight, it's the sound, it's the tactile feel of the sound coming back as you're typing on the keys. And there's a lot of apps and a lot more apps that you're going to see, even on TV, and we'll get into that at some other episode, that's really taking the whole sensory perception experience to a new level. Now, many years ago, when I was let's say the CEO of Multimedia Communications, I think I still am, but in any event, many years ago when we were in Massachusetts and we had a pretty large office there, I actually did some work for the United States Army, and they were really dealing with smell. And we actually did major slideshows back in those days, 3, 4, 12 projector slideshows, and we certainly were very familiar with using soundtracks and sound effects to create different types of environments and different types of psychological feelings. But one of the things we were experimenting with, and it worked pretty well, where we actually had these canisters that were set off by what's called a SMPTE time code, and what that did is it actually sent smells into the room, like roses and things like that. So you'll see that coming, smell-o-vision soon, but there's a lot to that. It's very interesting, and it's quite fascinating. When I used to be a professor at Boston State College, I used to teach a course called Learning and Communication Theory, and we dealt with all that, sensory perception, how people learn, what makes them learn better, and there's a lot to that. And I do predict that in a very short period of time, you'll not only have the incredible sound that you have now when you go to the movies, but you're also going to have the sense of smell added in to increase the experience. So let's see if the Gadget Professor is right. So crawling right along here, I don't want to keep Gary waiting. We have a YouTube downloader, and I've mentioned some of these products before. This is a new version. There's a pro version for $30, and there's a basic version, which is free. Now, if I know most of my Gadget Professor fans out there, you're going to go for that basic one, and that's okay. And what this will allow you to do is to download and convert YouTube videos and more. So you can download from Facebook, Vimeo, and 60 other platforms, 60 other popular sites, and that is actually included in the free version. You also convert video files to WMV, AVI, MP3, iPhone, and more. That's included in the basic. You can manage downloads and conversions on the fly. That's included. And the last thing that's included in the free version is it will automatically resume and retry when your internet connection fails. So that's everything that you get for free. If you want to buy the upgrade, you can look on this chart that I will include in the show notes, and it will tell you the things that you don't get. And quite frankly, I'd go for the free one myself. Now, here's a very cool app that I really urge you to get. The cost is $0, of course. It's a Gadget Professor. This is free. But this is called Hotspot Shield. And the Internet Connection Protector Hotspot Shield encrypts your traffic to protect you from all kinds of spying when your computer communicates with the rest of the world. It's a must-have utility for anybody who uses public Wi-Fi networks, and that's just about everybody out there. So when you load this onto your phone, your smartphone, this will actually encrypt everything so you don't have to worry that someone's taking your credit card number, so on and so forth, and I'll put that up in the show notes. Another utility that I've actually used a couple times, and I like it, it's called Camfrog Video Chat. Similar to Skype, but it's different, and it's, let's face it, a virtual face-to-face conversation with people from Antarctica to Zanzibar makes video chat the most intimate forms of telecommunications yet. Free video chat apps like Camshares, Camfrog Video Chat let you meet and chat with far-flung friends. There's just no way text messages can substitute that. Although this will do text also. So check that out. It allows you to create your own chat about your own topic. And this is kind of what the interface looks like. And again, it will work on the PC, it will work on the Mac, it will work on your smartphones, your iPad, your iPod, the whole bit. So definitely check that out. It's a pretty cool app, and of course it's free. Now here's another app that it's kind of neat. It's called Digsby. And this is an IM, email, and social network in one easy application. And you can instant message. This will display a multi-protocol IM client and lets you chat with all your friends that are on AIM, MSN, Yahoo, ICQ, Google Talk, Jabber, with one single buddy list. So you don't have to have a million things open. Just one piece of software will coordinate all those together. This will also display an email notification that alerts you of a new email and lets you perform actions such as delete, report spam with just one click. And last but not least, what I like about this is Digsby is a social networking tool that alerts you of events like new messages and gives you a live news feed of what your friends are up to. So check this out. You can get the screenshots, the features, the widgets, the blog, and support. It's all here. It will be on the show notes. And they do have a video, which I am not going to run because I'm very excited to get to our guest. And last but not least, I guess that was last. It is my pleasure and honor to introduce our next guest. And I've known Gary for about 3 years now. And I must tell you, he is a very brilliant young man, very, very, very modest young man. He is a 5-time Emmy Award winner, a cinematographer. You have to extract that information. I knew Gary probably for 2 years before I ever knew that he won 1 Emmy, never mind 5. So he's a very modest gentleman, and it's a thrill to have him on. Gary has done something that I think is very, very, very innovative in the industry, and he's going to actually tell you about it in 1 second, but I'm not done introducing him yet. Pretty much everything this guy does is as close to perfection as possible. He is a musician, he's a poet, but he doesn't know it. He's a gentleman, a scholar, and a master of 16 languages. And what Gary has done is he started his own TV network. And you will find Gary on the Roku box, the Boxy box, Samsung TV, pretty much any glass surface that's out there. And he has an incredible decorated background in TV. And without further ado, I am going to fold down this, and I am going to hopefully, let's see if we can bring up Gary right now. Gary!
Mr. Gadget Professor, how are you tonight?
Hey, I'm great. How you doing?
Fantastic.
I am so thrilled that you're here. I can't thank you enough for joining us. Gary, I'm really excited about the project that you're working on, and it's called HAVitTV. And basically, fans, what Gary has started, and this is operational right now, it's his own TV network, and he does his own original programming. So if you're sick and tired of, going on the Roku box or going on the Boxy box or surfing the net and just finding all kinds of garbage that you're sick of watching and there's nothing really cool, innovative, or interesting, Mr. Meeker has a phenomenal solution to get some free content and free entertainment. Gary, tell me about it.
Okay, well, it's called HAVitTV, which it's this thing right here, HAVitTV. I started in the planning phases about a year ago with Multimedia Communications as the designers. What do you know?
That's
and
awesome.
basically it's a network which has all original programming,
Right.
and we focus on music, motivation, and adventure. And we originally started thinking that we were going to buy a TV station locally here where I live in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. And it was very expensive, and it just didn't, it wasn't, to only reach that 50,000 households, it was a lot of money, plus all the upgrades to the new digital requirements. And it was going to be, well, quite frankly, it was a ridiculous amount of money just to reach 50,000 people.
Right.
So I decided that's it, not going to do it. I'm going to go full forward in all the new technologies, hit Roku, hit iTunes, hit the web, make sure that every piece of glass can get us. And they may not get us on cable television here locally, but everybody in town has something.
So
that
you
can
essentially
see us.
have started your own television network, just like CBS, NBC. Of course, we're not as big as that, but we now have the ability for anybody watching the Gadget Professor, just like you watch the Gadget Professor, they can now tune in to HAVitTV. So, for example, if you have a Roku box, you can go on the channel selection and just basically search for HAVitTV, and you can basically pull in all of Gary's free content, correct?
Yes.
If I don't have a Roku box, I can just go to your website, HAVitTV.com, is it?
Yep.
And just as you watch the Gadget Professor on the GadgetProfessor.com, you now can go to HAVitTV and get this incredible free content. And you have a variety of shows, correct? You have a variety of different things.
Yeah, actually, one of the things that I decided to focus on, because I don't like just one thing. I'm an enthusiast out here in what I call an island in the desert. We have a beautiful lake, Lake Havasu. So we have a tremendous amount of water sports, races, performance boats, sailboats, off-road racing.
Cool stuff.
We have quite a bit of shooting sports to paddle boarding to anything in the air, water, and land. Whether it's hiking by foot or with a high-performance motor, we have it here. And so it was real easy to make content. And what happened is originally, the way I've kind of planned it out is to start it out with the niche programming. So we have here in Lake Havasu a lot of boating. So we have a show called King of Props, which is a reality show that's based on the Performance Boats magazine crew and their cast of crazies. And
so I can go on HAVitTV and watch this as an actual show.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's called King of Props, and it is one of the programs on HAVitTV, which is on Roku, iTunes, the web, wherever. And then also boating, there's Performance Boats Magazine TV, which is it's a much lower budget show, but it's like turning the magazine articles into video.
Well, I know I haven't seen it, but I know how modest you are. And as I said, folks, he's a 5-time Emmy Award-winning cinematographer. And again, he's very bashful. He won't talk about it, but anything that Gary does in terms of production and content creativity is, believe me, top shelf. Believe me. You need to go on HAVitTV and just see it for yourself, and you'll know what I'm talking about. So I also understand that you mentioned briefly that you have another show or something new in the works. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, what happened was I have a show called The Venue, and The Venue is concerts. It's mostly folk and jazz. So duets and jazz trios and things like that, but very nice concerts. And uploaded a new one today, as a matter of fact.
Oh, really?
And but what happened was that I was dealing with some fairly famous artists, and because my background is Hollywood, Los Angeles, so I worked with a lot of these guys, and it ended up being, I have some decent friendships from these shoots and time spent there. And so as I was interviewing these higher end artists, what I noticed was that there's the word "the secret" is a little bit cliche, but there is something about people that are very successful. So what happened was I was doing a documentary work in Africa, Thailand, and Nicaragua. And on on this documentary work, I met a gentleman by the name of James McPartland. James McPartland was the founder and ran Star Trek fitness equipment for about 16 years. And he's an amazing man that has insight, and he knows how to get things out of people's minds and then interpret them and then explain them to us in order for us to use them. So
and he's going to be on this show?
He is the host, and not only is he the host, but he wrote a business novel called Unopened Gifts. And so the television show is titled Unopened Gifts Television. And we go and speak to these artists. We go speak to major business leaders, people like, well, I don't want to give any secrets out. So,
you don't want to mention
major
Obama.
business
I
leaders
understand.
about,
it's not a problem.
As the show rolls out, we will learn on in this program trade secrets about how to improve the business, about how to improve one's life, and basically their gifts to the world about how they became so successful. They're going to share those with us, and then James is going to interpret some of that and teach the viewer how to apply it to their life and how to apply it to their business.
Now, is this a weekly show? Is it a monthly show? How do I know when the episodes are coming out?
Well, there's a bunch of ways you can know how the episodes are coming out. First off, obviously, Facebook and Twitter. If you like HAVITTV Network on Facebook, that you'll automatically know. You'll get links.
So one of the things my fans would like to do is go to HAVITTV. That's HAVITTV, on Facebook, and that's going to give you kind of a program schedule.
Yes, and every time I release or upload a new program, of course I place it on Facebook, where I get the links to the web, I get the links to iTunes and so forth. Just
so again, you
people
can find HAVITTV on iTunes also now.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Which you really want to do, just like you subscribe to the Gadget Professor on iTunes. HAVITTV is now on iTunes, and you're going to get the updates just on the RSS subscription feed, and it's totally free. Pretty cool stuff, really is.
It's been a lot of fun, because when I first started in this industry, in 1988, 87 around, cable networks were still even a little bit young. There weren't a lot of them. They were the sports, there were sports, but cable networks were basically HBO and Showtime and things like that.
Right.
So I was able to really learn from a lot of greats in the industry in Hollywood, and I never dreamed that I would be able to have my own network where I was able to produce my own content, get it up there, and be the guy that made the decisions, right or wrong. It's on my shoulders.
What's interesting about that from a technology standpoint of view is, one, 5 years ago you couldn't even do this. I mean, it was just starting, but 10 years ago, or certainly in the 80s, it was a dream. The other thing that I have to point out too is that the equipment today to start your own radio station, your own TV station. We just talked a little while before about doing your own recording for a band, or even releasing your own records, if you will. I mean, that's a whole nother story unto itself about the RIA and copyrights and that whole thing. I don't want to get into that. But the point I'm trying to make is that the ability for someone to be creative and create their own content, whether it be television content, radio content, whatever it may be, any digital content, the cost of the equipment and the ease at which you can create your own material is astonishing today. Now that said, I must point out, and I know you're a modest person, I mentioned that, but having the equipment, having the cameras, having the computers, having the TriCasters, having the Streamstars, having the live stream to be able to stream it on, it is a small portion of the battle. If you have money, you can do that. But I think what you bring to the table, and I really mean this, is you have that wonderful background in cinema photography. You understand what producing content is all about, and you're one of the first people that I know of, really, that has actually started their own network and is actually doing a variety of different types of programming that people would want to watch. And that's what I find so very unique about what you do. And I'm actually amazed that you have that kind of talent, not only the technical talent, as I know you do, the cinematographic, the photographic eye, but you also have the ability to communicate. And that's why I really am keeping my eye on you, because I think you're going to be outrageously successful. And I think you're one of the pioneers in this business, because we all know in this business that the traditional television stations, NBC, CBS, Fox, all those, it's getting harder and harder for them to compete and stay in business. One, because they're so big, but two, when news breaks, what's the first way you hear about it right now? It's Twitter, isn't it?
Well, it's how I hear it.
Exactly. So
I don't even have cable TV anymore.
They can't compete
I got rid
with
of
that. So, you know, it's forcing them to, I guess, re-understand, reinvent how to get content across. And now when you're talking about cable, there's not a day that you go by when you read in the paper that, you know, I think just last week or 2 weeks ago, I forget what channel it was, shut down. You couldn't watch a Showtime on cable TV because they were charging too much money, and the cable people were screaming and yelling. And this whole paradigm shift in technology, the ability to do just what you're doing, to create your own content using today's technology, this is the wave of the future. And I'm very excited about HAVEitTV. Now, I know we're taking a long time here, but I do want to make sure that if people want to contact Gary, we have a special email address. Mike, if you can put that up, it's info@HAVEitTV. Is that right, Mike? info@HAVITTV.com. info@HAVITTV.com. So Gary is wide open for any email comments about his new network. I urge you to check it out and email Gary. He definitely will get back to you. And I'm actually so excited to have Gary on. I think we're going to have Gary back maybe once a month or every other week, just for a couple minutes to tell us what's new with HAVEitTV and keep an eye on it. What do you think, Gary?
I'd love it, because there are a lot of new things coming up. When we launched this thing, we had enough content to go, but trust me, if you stay tuned, there's even going to be better. It's going to be a lot more. It's going to be better, and it's going to continue on, which has been the trick. I upload at least a new show every week.
Really,
I guarantee a new show every week, which is a lot of work, but I'm happy to do it.
Believe me, I know it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to get a Gadget Professor off each week, between the research to do and the taping time, not taping time, the recording time. We don't use tape anymore. Well, Gary, it's been a real pleasure as always having you here. I interviewed Gary a couple times at NAB, and I think we had him at CES a couple times, and he's a very good friend of mine and a very bright young man, and I'm proud to have him on the Gadget Professor show. So Gary, I'm going to say goodbye to you, and we'll certainly catch up with you in a week or two, and I think everybody who's watching the Gadget Professor is definitely going to turn into HAVITTV.com or check them out in the Roku box, and let me know what they think about your new endeavor, for sure.
I will keep you informed, and thanks everybody. Please check it out, and remember, I have it. Do you have it?
Thanks, Gary. We'll catch you later. Take care.
See ya.
Well, certainly that was a lot of fun. Gary is just a heck of a nice guy, and I'm actually going to go check out a couple of his shows as soon as I get off the air, because I want to see what he's talking about. And believe me, when I tell you this guy knows how to produce content, believe me, he knows how to produce content. So that will wrap it up today for the Gadget Professor. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the interview with Gary, because I certainly did. And I will see everybody next week on The Gadget Professor. So long.
The Gadget Professor is produced by Don Baine, Multimedia Communications, LLC. If you would like your product reviewed on The Gadget Professor, or would like to appear on The Gadget Professor, contact us via email at thegadgetprofessor@gmail.com. The opinions expressed on the program by the host, guests, call-in listeners, or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. And thank you for watching The Gadget Professor.